What's up, folks? Welcome back to One More Guitar. Thanks for checking out the video. My name is Kyle, and my football team is in there getting their butt kicked right now, so I thought it'd be a good time to come in here and make a guitar video. So what I want to do today is I want to compare this Epiphone 1959 Les Paul with the new Yamaha Revstar. And I think that these two guitars are two of the best guitars that you can get in the $800 to $900 price range, and they're two of my favorites. So I wanted to compare them today just so we could hear them back to back, and for anybody out there that might be looking at getting either one of these. So let's dive into it. Alright, the first thing I want to do is just set these two guitars side by side, go over them a little bit, and talk about some of the spec differences. So we'll start up here at the headstocks. If we look at the Epiphone headstock, there's not a whole lot to say about this. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. It's not the Gibson headstock, but it's kind of close. It's got the Les Paul silkscreen in here, and then this particular model has a Perloid Epiphone logo. Alright, now we can take a look at the Yamaha headstock. You can see that there's no writing on this. The only thing on it is this little medallion at the top, and I'm not even really sure what that represents, so I'll look that up and put it up on the screen now. But you can see this headstock has a little bit of binding on it. It's not quite as square as the Epiphone headstock. It looks a little bit different. Somebody commented on the Revstar review video that this headstock looked like Gumby, and I have to say I laughed pretty good about that, but now I can't unsee it. So I've named this guitar Gumby. So going over the rest of the headstock, we can talk about the tuners. You can see that both of these guitars have Kluson style tuners, and I'll say that my experience with them has been pretty similar. The ones on the Epiphone are a little more stiff. I haven't played that guitar in a couple of months until today, and it was still in tune basically. And the ones on the Yamaha are pretty smooth feeling. I haven't had any issues with those yet, but I've only had the guitar for a little while. Alright, let's check out the nuts. You can see that the Yamaha has a black plastic nut on it, where the Epiphone comes with a Graphtec nut. Now I'll say I haven't had an issue with either one of these, and I think the Yamaha nut is cut very well. However, the Epiphone comes with a Graphtec nut, and Graphtec is a known brand. I've got numerous guitars with those nuts on it and have no problems with them, so I'd probably give that to the Epiphone, although, like I said, no issues with the Yamaha, but time will tell on that. Alright, let's take a look over these fretboards and talk about a few differences. First, the fretboard itself. On this Epiphone, it's made of Indian laurel. It's pretty dark, it looks pretty good, kind of similar to rosewood. But over here on the Yamaha, you do actually get a rosewood fretboard, and that's a little bit of a nicer spec there. And I personally prefer rosewood. Nothing wrong with Indian laurel, but I like rosewood a little more. I like the way it looks, I like the way it feels. Alright, back to the Epiphone. This comes with nickel frets, and that's pretty standard. Guitars have been coming with nickel frets forever, so nothing wrong with that. But again, on the Yamaha, you get stainless steel frets, and that's a really nice feature. It takes a lot longer for stainless steel to wear down, so these frets are going to last a lot longer than nickel frets, so it's pretty cool. Next, let's talk about these inlays. You can see that the Epiphone comes with Perloid trapezoid inlays. They're pretty big blocky inlays that cover a big chunk of the frets. This is classic Les Paul stuff here, so again, it's pretty familiar there, but I think it looks really good. I think they look good on this model of guitar. Over here on the Yamaha, again, you've got Perloid inlays, but they're these very little thin lines. I kind of wish they had done something to maybe fill out the fret a little bit more there, but that's their design choice, so it's fine. It is very minimal though. Both of these guitars come with binding along the neck. You can see that here, if I can get this shadow out of the shot. There you go. So yep, just another similarity that I wanted to mention between these two. Alright, let's talk about the neck profiles real quick. The Epiphone comes with a rounded C profile, and this neck really fits in my hand well. It's a little chunky, but it's not very wide, and to me it's a great feeling neck. The Yamaha has kind of a similar neck really. It's a little bit flatter on the back and maybe just a little bit wider. They don't really have a name for it, or at least not in their spec sheet, but I'll say they're comparable, but like I said, this one's a little bit flatter, maybe a little bit wider. Alright, now let's go over the stuff on the body. We'll start with the finish. The Epiphone comes with what they call an aged gloss finish, and this is something that Epiphone and the Gibson Custom Shop came up with together. And I think this was the first model they used it on, and they've had it on a few other ones now. But it's kind of got a worn, played-in look and feel to it. I think they're trying to simulate nitro, but both of these guitars do come with a poly finish. Now, if we check out the Yamaha, you can see that this particular one has a metallic finish on it, but I think this is the only color that's metallic. The rest of them are flat. So, nothing to complain about. I think both of them look good there. Both of these guitars come with a Tune-O-Matic style bridge, but if you take a look at the bridge on the Yamaha, it's actually a little more substantial than the bridge on the Epiphone. So I thought that was worth mentioning, although I'll say I haven't had a problem with either one of them. Next, we'll talk about the controls. The Les Paul comes with a volume and a tone control for each pickup, allowing you to set those individually. On the other hand, the Yamaha has a master volume and a master tone that controls both pickups. But the Yamaha comes with a 5-way switch, giving you 2 extra positions that they describe as they've added some delay to the circuit to give you some extra quack. Whereas the Epiphone comes with a typical 3-way switch. So that's a pretty cool feature that the Yamaha has. However, you do lose the ability to be able to set the volume and tone for each pickup. And as far as the pickups go, the Epiphone comes with Gibson Burstbucker pickups. These are Gibson USA pickups. And you know, that was one of the things that drew me to that guitar. I think that's a fantastic spec, and those are some really nice pickups, some of my favorites. The Yamaha pickups, they don't really have a name or anything. They're just Yamaha pickups, and they've a neck and a bridge. I'll put the descriptions on the screen now, but I think they sound good too. And we'll hear both of these here in just a minute. I'll play them back to back so we can compare them. But first, let's finish going over the specs. Alright, one more special feature about the Yamaha I want to mention is it's got this push-pull on the tone knob, and that's called the focus switch. And what it does is it's adding some EQ to your signal in some way. I don't know if it's boosting it or if it's just cutting some stuff. I don't know exactly what's going on. But I feel like you get a volume boost with it, and when you've got some gain on, it really gives you a dirty sound. It's a really cool extra feature to this guitar. And something else I wanted to mention, something that you're not going to find on the Les Paul. I find that very usable, and it's a lot of fun to play with. Alright, the last thing I want to show you when we're comparing the specs here are the cases. So let me pull those out of the closet real quick. Alright, so you can see the Yamaha comes with this pretty nice case. It's got some good padding in it. It's got a big pocket on the front. It's got a handle, backpack straps on the back. Check out the padding in here. It's got a little piece of Velcro there to hold your guitar in place. I mean, it's not the thickest in the back, but it's alright. It's a decent little case. I've used it, I've carried the guitar around with it, and haven't had any problems with that. I think it's going to keep the guitar safe, so that's good. However, it doesn't touch this case that comes with this Epiphone guitar. You get a hard case, this nice brown with the Epiphone logo on it. It's got 4 latches, and it comes with this pretty cool pink interior. This is a really nice case. I like it a lot. I've used it a few times, and you know it's going to keep your guitar safe. Much safer than a soft bag. So, you know, when it comes to the case, I think the Epiphone definitely wins. Alright, now what I want to do is play these 2 guitars and get some sound samples that we can listen to back to back and just compare how they sound. We'll do this clean and dirty, and we're going to use the neck, the middle, and the bridge positions for this because this guitar doesn't have the 5-way switch like the Revstar does. We'll start at the neck, move towards the bridge, and for the clean samples, we'll just compare them straight up, but when I do the drive samples, we will add the focus switch on that, so I'll do 3 samples, this, that without the focus switch, and then with the focus switch, and we'll compare how they sound. So let's jam. let's do some drive on here. This time we're going to start at the bridge and we'll work our way back towards the neck. And at each position I'll use a different overdrive. So I think I'll start with a tube screamer at the bridge. Alright, since the middle's a little bit sweeter, we're going to drop the gain down a little bit and we're going to go to a tumness here. So I'll probably play this for a little bluesy thing. Alright, and then we'll throw a heavier gain on up here on the neck. Alright, now that we've heard these two guitars back to back, let me go over my final thoughts with you here. First, I want to say, like I mentioned in the intro, I believe that these two guitars are two of the best guitars you can get in the $800 to $900 price range. So if you're looking at getting either one of them, I don't think you're going to go wrong. I love these guitars. So I will talk about them though and tell you what I like about each of them. We'll talk about the Les Paul first. Two of my favorite things about this guitar are the neck profile and the pickups. This rounded C profile really fits my hand well. It's not too thick, it's not too wide, and it's just about perfect for me. Now if you have smaller hands, it might be an issue, but I think it's great. I love this neck profile. The other thing are these pickups. These are Gibson USA pickups. It's a Burstbucker 2 in the neck and a Burstbucker 3 in the bridge, and those are two of my favorite Gibson pickups, if not my two favorite. I have the same pickups in this Flying V back here. Love that guitar, love the way it sounds. I've got the 1 and the 2 in the Les Paul behind me, and I don't quite like that configuration as much. So I wanted to mention that because this Epiphone comes with my favorite Gibson pickups and pickup configuration, and I think it sounds stellar. It's a great guitar. As far as the Yamaha goes, again, we'll start with the pickups. I really do love the way these pickups sound. For my ear, I kind of prefer this one a little bit, but these have a nice clean mid sound to them, where this one's got a little bit more highs to it, I'd say. But they sound great. I really enjoy the way this guitar sounds. Another thing I really like about this guitar is the versatility of it. You've got the 5-way switch that gives you 2 extra positions. I didn't go over that in this video, but if you want to check out the review of this guitar, or either of these guitars, I'll put links in the description. But anyway, the other thing I like about the electronics of this guitar is that focus switch. I use that all the time. So much so that I started pulling the knob off. So it's a great sound. Now, it's a very versatile guitar, and I really like it a lot. Another thing I love about this is that it comes with stainless steel frets. Again, that's just one nice spec feature on this guitar that's, you know, maybe make it last a little bit longer. So, really nice guitar. As far as the neck profile goes, it's very similar to this one, but it's a little bit flatter and maybe a little bit wider. But it still fits in my hand really well. I think I do prefer this neck profile though. You can tell that the bodies of the guitars, that this one is a little bit thicker than this one. Let me put this down and show you. Now, this is one of the things that I really like about this guitar too. It sits really close to your body, and it's got a comfort cut on it, so it's a very comfortable and balanced guitar. Somebody asked me in the comments of the review of this guitar if this was more like playing a Gibson or if it had its own vibe. And I'll say you definitely get the Gibson vibe from it, but because this body is so thin and because it's balanced and it sits real close to you, it's almost like playing a Strat. It really feels good up next to you. It's a really comfortable guitar. I don't know how else to say that, but it's a comfortable guitar, and it also doesn't have any of the awkward quirks that some of the Gibson models have. You know, there's no problem up here getting to the higher frets. You know, you don't have some bulky body shape that's making it hard to hold or anything like that. So, again, very comfortable guitar, and it's very fun to play. So, all right, that's going to do it for today. I hope this was fun for you, maybe a little bit informative. Let me know in the comments which of these guitars you liked and which sound samples you preferred. And until next time, take it easy and keep playing.